Greetings and welcome to The Thirsty Mage, the podcast that's known what the A button does since 1989 and didn't need 10 hours of explaining from the third game in a trilogy. Yes, like everyone else who owns a Nintendo Switch, we're playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and after a rant about hand-holding and tutorials, we're going to be sharing our early impressions and some tips and tricks regarding our adventure. But don't worry for spoilers, we will not be going past the second chapter. We're going to be anything and everything we'll be discussing will be in chapter 1 or 2. So, joining me only moments after he's disappointingly discovered that he can't stop time by smashing all the clocks in his house, it's Jordan Rudick.
I can't stop time, and I can't fast forward time either, because I'm also trying to fast forward to the point where I'm done done invigilating final exams, marking papers, and so I can just spend the rest of August playing Xenoblade. Because oh my gosh, it's a really good game, and it's coming out at a good and a bad time where I've just had tons of marking to do, tons of kind of wrap up sessions and Zoom meetings and stuff like that. So I'm very much looking forward to getting past all of the work stuff. So I've got a little bit of downtime leading into my vacation in the fall. So yes, no matter what I do to clocks and time and watches, time just marches on, I suppose. So unless it's Xenoblade 3, and then you certainly can do some damage by smashing clocks.
Yeah, I was very disappointed that my work would not accept lack of Xenoblade time as a mental health, week or two off. Very disappointed and not happy with the upper management.
That's how you separate the gamers from the non-gamers, right? Like these people clearly don't know the agony of not being able to play this game every minute of every day.
Yeah, and if anyone's out there listening, no, I don't have a Switch hiding under my desk. That's a dirty rumor. It's not true. Also joining me for our second playthrough of a Xenoblade game, it's the best third of the Talk Nintendo podcast, Casey Gibson.
Queen's Beans! Yes, I'm enjoying this game as well, and there is never enough time in the day.
Mm-hmm. No, not when it's a 150-hour RPG, there isn't.
This game, I know we're only going to talk about the first 2 chapters. It feels immense. It feels like such. It's one of those games you can tell just from like the first 5 hours how big and long this game is going to be, right?
As they slowly introduce new mechanics every turn. But
yes, exactly.
It's a Xenoblade game for you.
Yeah, our last guest will be able to tell us all about how the game is so big because she's so far ahead of the rest of us that we actually had to remind her what happened in the first 2 chapters. And it's Paige Chamberlain.
Well, I mean, I'm only like 24 hours into the game, and I actually haven't played for 2 days, so I gave myself a little break.
You got Xeno
about the first couple days.
Peak Xeno. Yeah. Well, I think this is a good opportunity. I don't know. It's not every time that we get all 4 of us on here, so I think it's a good time to give the official baby shower gift announcement because we can't actually give it to you yet. Casey, Jordan, and I we pre-ordered because Square Enix doesn't recognize Australia as a country. We've pre-ordered your Live Alive. The tank model kit, I believe it is.
Steel Titan.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, so it's going to be funny because it has to be delivered to me because they refuse to deliver to Australia. So they're going to send it to me, and which it works out great because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you some poutine, throw it in a Tupperware, and send it along. I'm sure you just heat it up and it'll be so good.
There's import restrictions. We have, no plant life, no.
You can send the poutine my way while you're shipping international.
It actually tastes better when you leave it in customs for a month. Like that, I believe that's the secret recipe or secret sauce there.
Customs,
well, the cheese is already curdled, so you're all right. You're all set. Like there's no bacteria, I'm sure. It will not be green and oozing by the time.
David, as long as it's not plant-based, it should get through, right? So you can't make the poutine that you would have. It's got to be one that, full dairy, full the works that Paige can have.
I don't think so.
Well, I speaking of the vegan poutine, New York Fries has vegan poutine because they have a vegetable based gravy. So
one time I got vegan mozzarella by accident, and it was the worst thing I ever tasted.
That's good.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Yeah. The dairy free cheeses are tough. I haven't found one that I that I like actually yet. So still on the hunt for something like that.
The other thing I was
in 2042.
Mm-hmm.
the other thing I was consider doing, Paige, was assembling the model and then putting it in like this frame with Casey, Jordan, and I's faces, so that when you put it in the baby's room, our 3 smiling faces will grace the baby 24/7.
We don't want to give the baby nightmares.
Yeah, baby's 1 month old having night terrors. Yeah, like totally on us.
Baby refuses to go into its room, and no one knows why.
You didn't even know that it was a mech and not a tank, so I'm not sure I can trust you to put it together.
Oh, he ordered the steel. He ordered the steel tank, so you're gonna be disappointed when you get it. 'Cause it's not one.
It's going to cost a lot to ship.
Yes, it's a real tank.
Now that would actually be pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
It's an investment for the baby.
Yes,
Dropping the baby off to kindergarten a couple years in a tank.
Yeah.
You could sell it in 20 years, and there's your college fund.
Well, no, in Australia, you've got the system where it's like you don't have to pay back to you earn a certain amount of money, and then it comes out of your wages. So the trick is to just never have gainful employment.
Smart.
But thank you very much, and
welcome.
I think that says it's got an October release date, so I should get it sometime after the baby.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never gotten anything from Square Enix before, so I have no idea how long it's going to take to get to me. No, well, I've bought things from Square Enix, but not directly from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this will be my first rodeo with them. I'll be pleasantly surprised if I get it in 2022. That's the goal.
I think with when you're doing international shipping like that, I think that's a reasonable expectation that if it comes within the same calendar year that you order it, it's a win.
Yeah, that's right. But I guess before we kick off the Xenoblade talk, there was the only other big RPG exclusive to Switch. We got some more information about today in the Pokemon Direct. So we got I guess it was like a 20 minute video. I skipped to the important 8 minutes as per what Jordan said, so I have no idea what happened in the first 12 minutes.
Nothing important. Sorry, Paige, you might like something. I don't know.
World Championship talk and different like apps and Pokemon Unite stuff. Like,
oh, okay.
Pokemon Go festival or event kind of things. Yeah.
The nerdy stuff, eh?
Totally up David's alley. I don't know how you skip that stuff, but okay.
Well, David was just all about the flying Pikachu pre-bonus.
Yeah.
Pre-order bonus.
Yeah. I was just surprised when they announced that it was an open world. So now that everyone's getting what they want, no one can complain. No one's allowed to legally complain about this next Pokemon. I think that's how it works, right? When you get what you've been asking for, you're not allowed to complain about it.
They're not going to complain, but all you're going to get is comparisons between Pokemon and Skyrim. So I hope you're looking forward to that. That's all it's going to be.
I was already comparing Pokemon to Persona 5. They've stolen the Academy setting.
Oh, didn't Pokemon steal Persona 5? Like, Persona 5 obviously came out before everything else in the world. So I think it's just Persona 5 and a Nintendo skin, I guess.
That's the way it looks to me.
I'll start with the video because I'm the one who kind of pitched us maybe talking about it a little bit, and I'm very excited about the game, even more so now. So I was already kind of interested. I can't remember where I had it on my rankings list. I think in the top half, and I would definitely move it up based on today's video. Getting that confirmation that it's open world. We got to see that the legendary Pokemon kind of function as like a riding mechanic, like they turn into motorcycles basically, and so you get to traverse the world in that motorcycle form. But not only that, scale mountains. You can also they turn into flying machines of some kind. You get to kind of jet through the air with them as well. Another thing that caught my eye was the this idea of like a treasure hunt that you're going to a school, which hasn't really happened before, I don't think. And you are participating in this grand treasure hunt that has 3 kind of large objectives. One of the objectives is the traditional Pokemon going through all the gyms, becoming the gym, I guess Pokemon champion kind of idea. But they didn't really say what the other 2 objectives are. So I'm curious about what those might be. You got to figure one of them's probably like the catch 'em all kind of thing. But I'd be pleasantly surprised if they made those extra kind of objectives of this treasure hunt into something we haven't seen before. I think that's possible. So I think the game looks great. We only saw a couple new Pokemon in this video. We saw a new kind of themed or new flavored Wooper, who I'm guessing is probably ground or poison type, right?
You're gonna lick the Wooper eye here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go space page.
Delicious. That's the gravy, is it?
And it's that kind of suit. Yeah, that's right. That'd be a good segue between David's vegan poutine and the new poison Wooper. But I suppose we missed out on that. You've got they brought up the multiplayer again. How there's these raid battles against terrestrial Pokemon or Terra raid battles.
Pokemon.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All Pokemon, the new thing, instead of Mega Pokemon or Mega Evolutions or anything, we've got Crystalline Pokemon, I guess. So it can change the types of Pokemon, I don't know if it changes their moves or abilities or whatever, but it seems like there's just another form for a lot of different creatures in the game. So that's pretty cool. I don't know about the new characters that they've introduced. I think that the Academy director looks exactly like the guy who was doing the Pokemon video. Like, I'm like, oh, this is just based on you, isn't it? Like, I can't remember the fellow's name who was heading up the video, and he's been doing the Pokemon videos for a while now. But he looks just like the school headmaster or the director. I guess the Academy director they're calling him. But yeah, I'm excited about this game. Anyone else raise their expectations for the game after seeing the video today?
Nope.
They're already sky high, right?
On to Xenoblade 3. Let's go.
I was gonna say she's at peak Pokemon already. How can you go over 100?
Get higher.
The one thing I did like was the raid battles. Now you're not waiting your turn. It said that you can just keep making moves and stuff, so you're not waiting for everyone else to make a decision. I think the only reason I pick it up would be the multiplayer aspect. Like being able to play with my family, like actually together, and not just start playing the same game at the same time.
Yeah, I watched the trailer there. It looked pretty good. I'm on and off with Pokemon. I was saying to Jordan earlier, right, that I've sort of had the hankering a little bit to play Pokemon games. So, it's going to be a wait and see. But yeah, it definitely looks good. I like the direction they're going in, and I always like when they like remix old Pokemon, right? Like oh, here's a new version of it in this new region. So those are always cool. And yeah, that special flying Pikachu with the he's all pimped out with the sparkle balloons. Might have to pre-order. But yeah,
we'll see. I was gonna pick it up anyway because my kids want it, so I was gonna get it. After watching this, I might actually play it, I guess would be the way to put it. There is a lot of Square Enix games coming out for the end of the year. And I did look it up, Jordan. You had Pokemon as your number 4 game.
Okay.
And now I'm curious, who do you think you'd actually bump?
If you're still looking at it. So so can you give me the top 4 then? So Pokemon's number 4.
Harvestella's number 3.
Yeah.
Crisis Core is number 2.
And then
Trails
is 1, of course. So I would probably move. Gosh, I hate to move this above Harvestella, and I know we've seen a little bit more of Harvestella recently too. I would move this up and maybe move Crisis Core down. So I would move Harvestella to, I'd keep Harvestella at 3, move Pokemon to 2, and probably put Crisis Core at 4. I'm still very excited for Trails, but yeah, Pokemon is rising after this video for sure. I love the idea of maybe they can pull off an open world. I just want to see what a full open world Pokemon game looks like, because they've been flirting with this idea, but it's been kind of Nintendo-ified or Pokemon Company-ified. It's kind of an open world to a very light extent. So to see if they can actually pull off a full one and it performs well on Switch and all that stuff, I'm eager to see if that actually comes to fruition. And again, it has to be an open world that's filled with fun and new things to do. I liked the side quests of Arceus. I hope they maintain things like that. I am excited about this premise of going to school and having teachers and seeing how that kind of is its own objective, or how that plays a role in the adventure. It does seem like this game is going to start in a different way and then open up to a world that we haven't seen before. So my hype level is definitely higher. I don't really need to see much more of this game outside of maybe the starter evolutions. I am still curious about that. Probably going with Quaxley regardless, because I almost always pick the water starter. But this was a good video, I think. Yeah.
I'm excited for it too. Looking forward to it. Like you said, with the open world thing, it was funny because they made such a big deal about the wild area in
Yes, exactly.
in the last one. So I guess this is a full wild area. I guess now it'd be funny if they just like reskinned Hyrule from Breath of the Wild with
Yes,
Pokemon.
exactly.
I'd be fine with that. Save some time and money. Why not? So, but yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, I guess we'll move on to the topic of the night, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. We're all playing this one. I think this is one of the few games where all four of us are all playing at the exact same time, and besides Paige being about 14 hours up on us, we're all pretty close to the same spot.
She didn't get the memo to slow down.
Yeah, well, that's why she hasn't played the last 2 days. She's sitting around waiting for us to catch up. Maybe Casey, how about, because we started this podcast with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm curious. Why don't you kick off the early impressions of this third in the trilogy?
Yeah. All right. So I will say. Do you want me to like talk a little bit about the story or more of my impressions?
Just your gut feeling, early impressions right now. We can get into the story bits in a bit.
So I think it starts off sort of like any Xenoblade game sort of does, where they don't give you the full kit, right? The full tool set. Like they sort of introduce you a little bit at a time. It feels like a really refined version of the battle systems you sort of saw in 2. They do a good job of like explaining everything, and they like almost to a fault, right? Like some of the tutorials are like, all right, I get it. Like, let me go. But they really make you like, oh, nope, you're going to click exactly what we tell you to click, and you're going to like it. But I think that's good in the long term because, right, like Xenoblade 2, like a lot of people, it would be like, oh, and like Perry's a good, sort of case study because he's not like a huge, RPG guy with like systems on systems on systems. So I know he got a little confused like in 2. And like, oh, it's like, well, just watch this YouTube video where this person breaks it down really well. And I think they saw that and were like, all right, we can't do that with 3. So they're doing like a really good job of explaining like, this is what's going on. This is how you do it, right? Like as you go, it's like, hey, you're going to play as the damage dealer for a bit. You're going to play as the healer for a bit. You're going to play as the tank for a bit. And they really do a good job of like, hey, this is sort of what's going on. So a little bit in the beginning, like the combat feels a little slow, but as now I feel like I've sort of unlocked everything. I'm sure they'll probably throw some more curveballs at us and add some new things as we get into it. But as the culmination of Chapter 2 comes up, it feels like, okay, this is it. This feels amazing. I'm loving the characters. There are a lot of them, which again is like, oh man, there's a lot going on in battles, because you have 6 people sort of duking it out at once. And, a little bit too, where like with the class customization, at first I was like, I don't want to do all this class changing. But as I've sort of gotten a little deeper into the game, it's more, hey, just because this character was introduced as a tank doesn't actually mean they have to be that tank. And correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like every character, when they level up, scales the same. It's not like, oh, Mio was a tank when you got her, so her health and her defense scales higher than her attack power or something. It seems like everything is just like, oh, you level up, this is what you get.
Yeah, I think you have to play as the class, though. Like, like if you're Mio and you're an attacker, like your healing class doesn't go up unless you switch her to the healing class.
Oh yeah, no, but they're like base stats, I mean.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, like the game pushes this character to be a tank.
Oh yeah, I didn't get that feeling so far anyway. Yeah.
Like everything is like scaled up the same as far as like raw stats. Yeah, like your level won't. Yeah, you won't level up your tank build or your tank class if you're playing as a healer. But in the beginning, I was thinking more like, oh well, like this is how this character is introduced. This is what I want them to be. It's like, no, these characters are blank slates, and you can do whatever the hell you want with them. So now, wrapping my head more around that, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing how it's all sort of coming together, and I'm feeling better about switching the classes and sort of, unlocking different abilities that way. So right now I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I think really as you sort of finish up chapter 2, it's like, all right, the game is sort of firing on all cylinders now, and I'm really enjoying it. It has definitely been a game, like when I head off, it's like, oh, there went 4 hours and it barely even felt like it like happened, But yeah, I'm enjoying the characters, the game. Like I said, it's sort of coming together. It feels really good in that sense. And I'm enjoying the story and very intrigued on how it's going to sort of play out as we get deeper in.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, Paige? You're the furthest ahead. Maybe you can give us an idea of, is it still feeling, do you still have that same feeling up at the 20-hour mark that you did around the 10-hour mark?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the 10-hour mark compared to the I don't know. I'm only using one save slot. I'm not, putting
You monster.
I was going to say, don't tell that to David.
I was upset there was only 3.
Me too. I wanted more.
What in the world? Who only gives you 3? What's going
You guys
on?
are weird. I usually just save in the same slot too.
I will live with the consequences of my actions. Yeah, I've bought a couple of Xenoblade games before, but I've never really played much of them. I think, the first one I tried was like X, and then 2, and especially when X came out, I definitely played some games, but the genres I played were more limited. I hadn't played something that was very MMO like combat wise with the cooldowns and things like that. And then even when I think it was because I didn't know some basic tips about 2 that was why I didn't get into it. But I think the one thing that annoys me most about Xenoblade is people saying it's an action RPG, and I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, not quite.
It's not. Especially in this game, you get into the chain attacks, and it's literally just like G picking moves and like.
There's literally not a button to do a normal attack, so I don't know how it could be action RPG when I can't.
There's no quick time events. There's nothing that's really a lot of timing based at all.
The only cancel attack would be the only thing, right?
Yes, that's the only thing. Yeah,
it's just I don't know. But people keep calling it an action RPG. It's like just because you position yourself. Like, does that mean Final Fantasy XIV is an action RPG? Does that mean like Neverwinter Nights 2 or like all those CRPGs like that were like cooldown, like sort of turn, where they're actually like technically turn based, but real time.
Mm-hmm. Anything action RPG if you try hard enough.
So that's what's always annoyed me, because it's like, no, you put an auto attack and like at the start of the game your arts charge was really slow, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
But I've been getting more into like doing the cancelling and stuff on time to try and attack faster. And I figured out how to switch characters mid-battle, because sometimes I'm like, sometimes the battles aren't too hard, and then sometimes the other characters don't seem to be doing their role duties very well. And I'm like, am I going to have to switch to one of you guys?
We're looking at you, healers.
I'm waiting for a topple. I've broken the enemy. I want a topple. Please, someone do topple now.
Actually, one of the funnier things in the combat was like, because I never really played the games, when one of them did launch and there's just like a snake twirling in the air.
I love it.
It's so funny. It's really funny.
And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I was like, well, I guess he can't hit us while he's doing that. But yeah, so far I really like it. Especially I think just after like chapter 2 is you get a bit more like freedom, like like there's, because you unlock more stuff, so you can actually go off and do some of the side things. There's a bit, especially like in that first couple chapters, where it's like you try to walk a certain way and they're like, no, you can't go that way, whereas now you can. It'll just be like enemies are too high level, so you'll die. Which is what I prefer, instead of just being like artificially walled off. It's like, okay, I'll come back later. or other things, mechanics that we might talk about later because it's technically after chapter 2. But yeah, I'm liking it, especially once I got past that point and was able to all right, good, I can get away from these 5 cutscenes in a row, and I can just go and open these containers and whack all these monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's chapter 2 is sort of like the all right, we're taking the training wheels off now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gearing up a bit. How about you, Jordan? What's your visceral feeling on the game so far?
Yeah, so I think the first few hours I did feel like it was slow, that there were a lot of cutscenes, that the tutorials were kind of getting in the way of the momentum. I understand that, right? Like, it's such a long game, you want to make sure people are playing it properly, or they're not going to have a good time. So you want to make sure that new players are integrated, and even players familiar with the series are kind of refreshed, and you can see how this game is a little bit different as well. But I think by the end of chapter 2, and the end of what I think is probably the most linear section of the game, and it starts to open up after that, you do feel like, oh wow, like this game has the potential to be the best game out of all the Xenoblade games. Like that's kind of where I'm at the end of chapter 2, is I feel like now we're starting to see kind of what the potential of this game is, and how a party of 6 is so different from the a party of 3 where you're rotating characters in and out, and it's just or even what Xenoblade 2 did with the blade system and everything. Like this is. It's I don't know. The character's really starting to grow on me. The world is I'm just spending time going out and exploring and getting lost, and I don't really care that I'm not advancing the story. There's just so much to do. We were talking before we started recording about fighting the what are the enemies called with the blue symbols around them? The champion kind of enemies.
Like the uniques? Or?
Yeah, I guess the unique enemies. And so like the battle music changes to kind of like a boss type theme, and you get special rewards for fighting them. And it just feels like there's these epic monsters around the field that are at your level, but they're just going to be more challenging. And you can kind of have that challenging boss fight type atmosphere whenever you want, which is really cool. So if you haven't played a boss fight in a while, and you're itching to get into a tough fight, like you can just go out and find one. And I like that idea as well.
And then they leave the gravestone or the tombstone.
Oh no, that's the yellow ones, like the one with the yellow bit, the epic ones.
Yeah, not the blue ones.
I've been beating those ones up, and that's good because they leave a gravestone, so they don't spawn back up.
That's
and
right. Yeah.
Also, it creates a fast travel point. So
we love our fast travel points. That's for sure. I like that just out in the world, like you can encounter dead bodies that you have to play the flute to kind of send them off properly, right? Or you find like the containers that give a lot of treasure, or just kind of side quests where you're just walking around, you chance upon an opon or a character who needs help. The side quests feel meatier here. They feel meatier is probably the optimal word to use.
Okay, come on, Casey, give it to us.
Yeah, there.
Soundbite, bring it out. Come on, let's go.
Oh well, you put me on the spot here. I don't.
The meteor.
Hey Noah, Lance needs something more media to chew on. Is it to chew on?
No.
I think she ends.
It's just
I think she ends
that
with the
Noah
word meteor.
lands with something a bit meatier.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I love their banter when they're walking around, and before and after combat. I'm not gotten to the point where it's annoying. It's still kind of funny and fresh, and it's not like that one soldier in Xenoblade 2. What did he keep saying?
Don't forget me.
Yeah, don't forget me. Oh my gosh, that was such a good meme. But yeah, we haven't quite got there yet. But yeah, I'm digging the game so far. I think, like I said, I think it has the potential to be my favorite. I think that could happen. And I love all these games. Yeah, even X, which is still unfortunately trapped on a Wii U. I still love that game too. Haven't seen too much of the world yet through the first 2 chapters, so I'm eager to see some new environments for sure. But yeah, I love the characters that we've met and the banter and everything that's going on. Seems like there's the mysteries are starting to unfold and get really interesting. So
yeah, I pretty much echo what everyone else is saying. Enjoying the first 10 hours. I think it's as the tutorials spread out more and more, I'm having more and more fun because they really piled on. I think there's so much of the game that seems to be a reaction to Xenoblade 2, kind of in my eyes. It's almost like they I know when Xenoblade 2 came out, there was a lot of people complaining about not understanding what to do, or that the tutorial was like 40 hours long before everything opened up. And it's funny too, in a sense where it's almost like they're giving a middle finger to people, like, oh, you thought it was too complicated? Well, we're going to make it more complicated, and then we're going to treat you like a baby. And then if you can't get it, then we don't want you playing our game.
That's what the tutorial part I don't like is, like, it's why I don't play a lot of mobile games, because they do this like thing where it's hovering the icon over, press this, only
right
this.
Here.
And also, you got to exit the menu. We're going to tell you how to exit the menu too, because like, and you can't like fiddle with the options of the other character straight away or anything. You've got to just do exactly. Yeah. It's very annoying. And then, like someone said, individually leveling up the characters, and then it doesn't even teach you, like it says on the bottom, but like there's actually a button to just do everyone at once.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
I think you should have that as like the default, but then you should be able to go toggle it off to be like, give me less detailed tutorial.
Yeah.
Like I like this, like when you get into a battle, like they'll give you like those 3 little screens, or like a window pops up, tells you the info, and you like, oh, maybe there's 1 or 2 panels you could slide. Boom. Give us those kind of tutorials instead of, like literally press Y to open up the menu. Go into Noah's class, and like, oh, well, I want to change someone else's, and they don't let you do it.
No.
The other thing I find funny about this game is it almost feels like there was a bet made with like Takahashi. It was like, how much RPG tropes or cliche, like all systems, like how much do you think you can jam into a game? Because they've got so much going on. Like they got like the MMO style with having like the arts charge and the auto attacks, and then they got cooking, they got equipment, they got gem making, they have picking up items as far as the eye can see. They have the six players going at once. Like, it's just, they've crammed as much. I've only 10 hours in, and man, they've crammed so much into this that it's going to explode.
One thing my husband was asking me about, like, how does it perform, and I'm like, I'm assuming it's 30 FPS, but like it performs pretty well. Like, at the most I've seen is like slowdown, which, during battle, and there's already 6 party members, possibly another one, and the monster, and everyone's dropping AoE circles, and like I'm not surprised that there's sometimes
4 hyenas coming up on you.
The wolves,
the sons of guns.
I'm pretty sure it's only 720. I could be wrong, but it seems like it's only 720 when it's docked, as opposed to a full 1080.
But yeah, I say the performance is pretty consistent, and and I'm not surprised if it slows down a bit when there's that much going on at once. I played a tiny bit in handheld, and they just make it look uglier. That's all.
But not as ugly as Xenoblade 2. That was real bad in handheld, if I remember correctly. Not that I played it a ton in handheld, but
I mean, I've been playing exclusively in handheld so far, and I'll switch to dock at some point. I know. I can't. Portable's the number one thing for me. Like, everyone who was listening to this for a while.
Switch Lite.
Yeah.
No, I'm on my OLED. Like, the truth is, since getting my OLED, I haven't played on any other Switch. So, I mean, yes, the textures can look muddy at times, but yeah, the frame rate it's got to be close to 30 all the time. Like, it's pretty consistent. Yeah, aside from just some larger battles with some frame drops, definitely. But I don't mind the muddy textures, because I think the art style is so great. I think the characters look awesome too. Like, a good art style can kind of eliminate any
over.
Yeah, it kind of glosses over, paints over, any graphical issues. I've always kind of espoused that idea. So, I mean, sure, would this look great on a Switch Pro? Yeah, definitely. But I still think the art style does enough here, and so playing in handheld is not too big of a deal. And again, for a 100+ hour RPG, like, I'm just not going to get that much time on a TV if I want to get through the game. So, and I do, because there's still we ranked them all. Like, there's still a lot of good games coming soon, so we got to get. But that's why Paige is sprinting through. It's not because she's having a baby; it's because she's got to get ready for Soul Hackers 2, right, Paige?
I was going to say, so one of the things I keep, because my husband's watching me play a little bit, like not much because he wants to play it himself, but one of his complaints about the way the game looks is the characters faces because
Hmm.
like all the expression is in their eyes, basically. So
Yeah.
he's complaining because they've got such like sort of like more flat anime faces. He's complaining that like that it's pretty much just all like there's no like he's like there's no facial expression outside of the eyes, and to him it looks weird. And I'm like, oh, I'm just looking at their eyes, so it's fine.
Well, I've actually felt the same way too. I was thinking it's like, they can't go any more graphical fidelity because they've got like 80% of all the sprites going to the eyes. Like the eyes just like jump off the screen. Like there's so much detail going on there. It's almost to the point where it's like, did you have just a team of 15 people just work on the eyes? Because this is the way it seems.
Is that why you took the picture of Ethel? You're looking into her eyes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like when they, especially, well, like say the cutscenes where they're closing up on that because they've got some kind of I don't know if it's a device or just because like the way these people are, but like there's something in everyone's eyes, like one of their eyes, the iris system.
Oh yeah, the little computer thing.
When they're showing like the computery stuff and the flame clocks, like that's really detailed.
How cool was it when like, they're trying to, no, it's me, Noah, and then you see from their perspective and they're like the smoky cloud monsters.
Yeah, through
Oh
Ethel's
yes,
eyes,
that's right. Yeah.
It reminded
the iris.
It reminded me of that Black Mirror episode. I don't know if you guys watch that show, but
Yes, yeah. That's a good. I didn't think of that, Casey, but now that you bring that up, for sure, that does. It does.
yeah,
It reminded me of Man of Medan. So there, I don't remember who makes it, but it's like this horror game where they see people as other things. So people are like killing their like friends and stuff by accident because they think it's a monster, but it's really their friend.
Yeah, that's sort of the spoilers for a random Black Mirror episode. But yeah, like they're like soldiers going and like killing these monsters, but really it's just like they're killing like poor people that the higher ups wanted to get rid of, but like they make them look like hideous, dangerous monsters. But yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Do we?
Well, we can.
Story?
Can we talk about the music? Can we just?
I was
talk
gonna
about
say
the music?
we didn't get to the music yet because
Oh my gosh.
it's another Mitsuda classic, I would say.
Someone on Twitter said, and I guess it was passed around the NWR Slack. It was something like, "It feels like every song is like the last song that's ever going to be made," or something like that.
Someone said 80% of the soundtrack is like the composer was told it's going to be the last song they'll ever make.
Yeah, and it totally, it really does feel like that. Like every song that I've heard in this game so far is incredible. From the traveling music to cutscene themes to the battle music, obviously, like it's all excellent. And I think the emphasis on the flute is really cool. I saw something on social media as well about how like they made like special flutes just for this game or something like that, to kind of mimic or mirror the ones that are played by Noah and Mio. Like, and man, I love the emphasis on like a particular instrument and just hearing that all the way through, and then it being part of the gameplay. Like it's fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's what helps some games stand out too is when they just focus on some instrument that's not typically used.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, definitely happens here. I don't know. Does anyone have a standout so far? Like I feel like I've only heard like a fraction of what's going to come out. Like even there's a trailer song I haven't heard yet that I want to hear in the game.
Yeah. It's like I sort of want to look up the song so I know what's what, but then I don't want to.
Same page. Yeah. I know the soundtrack's online already. I didn't want to check it out yet. Yeah, I'm the same.
But I really like. I think the main boss theme. So when you're fighting like an actual story boss or something, and it sounds. I don't know if it's violins or something, but I feel like it's got something like that in it. I like that one the best.
Yeah, I don't have a particular one, but I was just the flutes. I really like that sort of, hey, we're going out and battling, and then like, oh, let's take a moment to just sort of take a breath, and then you hear like, yeah, that beautiful flute go, and I feel like it sort of just adds like a nice just downtime, right? Because when you're out in the field, there's so many monsters and there's so many things to be running and collecting. When you see that sort of flute logo on your mini map, I love just being over there, like, hey, like sort of take a breather, listen to some really nice music. It's a quick little thing, but yeah, I love that flute. But yeah, as far as the music, it's beautiful. You know, I don't have a particular one, and I haven't pulled up any lists just to, like you said, sort of, you don't want to type in Xenoblade 3 into YouTube at all.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
You don't want to be messing with that.
One of the I'm high in the music too. The one problem I have though is like I do a lot of or I have been doing a lot of running around, like opening up the map, so I'm not necessarily fighting everyone at the same time. So the kind of like normal enemy theme pops up like every 30 seconds or so. And that little like whistle at the beginning is driving me nuts.
Yeah.
when you first get targeted, and I'm like, no more. I can't take it anymore. It's like, no, go away. I just want to walk. Let me walk.
You gotta walk in an S shape because you're collecting all the items, and you gotta walk along the wall so you don't get targeted. I think when you get to a high enough level, they don't bother you anyways, which is kind of nice.
The bozos following behind me because like I'm playing as the one character, right? So I'm weaving and all, and then I'm past the enemy, and then all of a sudden the music starts, and I'm like, all right, which one of you jerks walked into the enemy back there? Like, can't you follow orders?
You know, it's got to be Senna, right? She's always kind of lollygagging back there, I think. So
was in terms of characters, it's like I don't hate any of them, but I was like, because Senna has like everyone's sort of various UK type accents, and then we've just got Valley Girl American in there, and I'm like,
it's funny, yeah.
What?
It's just a jarring contrast between her and the rest of the cast, yeah.
With the flaming hair,
yeah.
It's true, right? I mean, I guess maybe Paige might know, but we're not going to be talking about after chapter 2 stuff. But no Nopon, right? I mean, they're there, but they're not in battle, which is sad.
No battling Nopons yet.
Not yet.
They're just helping cooking and crafting gems.
Riku in his man voice.
Yes, it's great.
Banana Pon, heart.
In terms of characters, I think I ended up liking Tyon a lot more than I thought I would. I thought, his personality is so like
brash,
the nerd.
He's very standoffish at the beginning, but I think you warm up to him.
Especially a bit later, like actually get to like him interacting with people. But like, I actually like it a bit better because it bounces off some of the other characters. Like Yuni's my favorite. And there's some great. Like. it's in like the next chapter, but like in one of the hero quests, like her reaction to a particular character is just so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's just getting really annoyed. But
like when Uni screamed at Lance, where it's like, "You arsehole!"
Yeah.
That was great.
You muppet.
I love when she calls him a muppet. It's great. Or when any of them use the word muppet, it's great.
Or when all of a sudden the boy, like Casey and I were talking about this a couple days ago. So there's a scene early on which came off. I don't know if anyone's seen. Oh man, I'm blanking on the movie's name. There's this '90s movie where they're with Neil Patrick Harris, where they're fighting bugs on another planet.
Oh, Starship Troopers.
Yes, Starship Troopers. There was a very Starship Troopers scene where like there was just like a unisex shower and bath where they're all just kind of walking around, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like nobody seems too bothered by it. And then they find the clothes, and then like all the guys were like, yeah, I just got to change my boots, and then they like ran away to change.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, it was.
Like, what happened here, guys?
It was like someone talking about, it's like they're in a military society. They're just like raised straight away to be like trained up, and then they start fighting in the actual colonies. So it's like, okay, they obviously things like that aren't part of their society. But then not even like maybe a couple of hours outside of it, they're suddenly embarrassed and stuff. And it's like,
maybe the steam from the baths do a good job of covering things.
That's right. That's it. Yeah.
Well, you get to see lots of naked Nopon in this. But yeah, it's just such a weird, like, sudden shift, and it's like, man, I really hope that there's no romance in this.
Well, it's funny, right? Like Senna at one point that uni love, right? And then she's like uni like bugged out. She's like, "Don't call me that."
Yeah.
So I mean, it's interesting to see how like obviously Senna and Mimi, right? Or
Mio.
Yeah.
well,
That's what
she calls her Mimi.
Senna
Yeah.
calls her Mimi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two like acclimating a little quicker to the group, and then you have Taeyeon and Lance sort of being like the standoffish ones. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see how they're starting to come together too, and I'm liking how that sort of interaction's working. And like I said, I'm interested to see how more. Obviously, the teams are going to keep building together, but yeah, I'm liking this game.
Yeah, like for character development wise, like I'm used to playing games with dozens of characters over dozens of games and keeping track of all their personal histories and comings and goings. So having 6 characters in one game is not bothering me at all.
Well, we still got the affinity chat pop-ups, and actually, it's one thing that also annoys me about the game is like you maybe finish a quest and then your controller's like vibrating 6 times in a row because it's like a bunch of stuff has popped up. And it's like, go away.
Well, the other thing that's funny is there's like you'll run into people who are like chatting about some topic or something, and then it's like, okay, go to the rest area to discuss what they just said. So I was finding that kind of funny. Like,
I've never really seen that in a game before either. Like this idea of kind of spying on a conversation, then going somewhere and talking about it with your group. And then it rewards experience points, or it lets you on a quest or something.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I think it's a really cool mechanic actually, and feels very like an element of realism in the game. Like, yeah, of course, you would be walking around the camp, you'd hear someone talking about something, and then you bring it back to your group. Like that feels like a very realistic thing that we haven't really had in an RPG. That I can think of. Like I know, of course, you do in Skyrim, for example. We'll bring that up again. You walk around the town, you hear people, you overhear something and might start a quest, right? But you don't like sit down with your party at the tavern and talk about it, like before you do something. So yeah, that was a really neat thing that I'm glad they've incorporated these new kind of RPG elements or progression mechanics into the game that we haven't seen before. It's man, I really just want to get back to playing this game. It's fun. It seems really deep.
It's like, little did you know that David's actually just got the Switch under the table. Right?
Oh, he's doing it again. I knew it. He's at work right now, actually.
I got it on mute. I'm sorry. It's just it's how it goes.
You got it on mute, you monster.
Yeah, really. I cannot play this game muted. I cannot. The sound, the voices, the music, it's too good. Like I refuse to play this on mute. I'll just not play it. And I'll go somewhere else.
I don't want to miss out on uni with voice lines.
No, I love all of them.
I got to hear the chirps. I can't read the chirps. They don't deliver as well unless I can hear it. I guess my one thing, like, because we're very early on, we're probably not even a 10th through the game yet. Probably around 5% done at this point. I'm curious how many of these systems are going to survive till the end of the game. I know there's a lot of RPGs where they'll like introduce some kind of system or mechanic and then like forget about it 10 hours later. So I'm curious how important a lot of these things are going to be. Like, is cooking still going to be important at the 90-hour mark?
Well, I feel like even in what's the colony in chapter 2?
Colony 4.
Right, you unlock a new recipe if you eat at their canteen. So that's how you unlock more recipes to use, so you have more options.
Cooking in RPGs are like, it's never necessary, I feel like, or very rare, right? So I feel like that's one of those side things. Like, yeah, if you want to keep collecting recipes, and I mean, it's obviously beneficial, right? You're going to get stat bonuses and stuff, but I don't know. To me, it's like, even in like Breath of the Wild, right? Like the cooking stuff, like it's there and it could definitely be beneficial, but I never felt like it was like, oh, I have to do this. Even when you
didn't need to make 16 yellow hearts before a boss fight.
You didn't have to, but he did.
Casey's a programmer. He doesn't need that stuff.
I love the fact just a small simple thing about one of the systems, but the gem crafting. When you craft a gem, everyone can use it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was weird.
I love stuff like that. Like, don't make
Yeah.
me craft 6 of the same gem when we can just everyone can use the same one. It's such a small change, but I love that. So whenever you craft a gem type, you've unlocked that permanently, and then everyone can use it. Like, it's one of those small quality of life things I just super appreciate, and it makes so much sense because you're switching the classes. You don't want to have to craft, another gem or switch everybody's gems over. Like, you can just kind of quickly put on the next one rather than having to unequip somebody else or see the pop up that says, "Oh, do you want to unequip this from Noah and put it on Mio?" Like, no, just do it. So I love the kind of simple thing like that.
Quality of life, right?
It just makes the game. It lets you get back to the fun game playing stuff faster, and there's no mini game associated with crafting the gems like the first Xenoblade game had, which was super tedious. Like, just give me a good gem, just give me one gem that's the same quality no matter what, and then eventually I can get a higher level gem. Like, don't make a whole mini game out of it. We don't need that.
Oh, my biggest question is, where's the fishing mechanic?
Yeah.
Just wait.
No, because you can swim now. So you just go in and you beat the fish up with your hands.
That's it.
Just
Grab them
Just
by
grab
the
them with
neck
your bare
and you
hands.
go.
smack him off a rock.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of the
I'm-
funniest things is because you can't like jump in battle. So sometimes you're fighting a guy behind a rock, or you're like I'm doing the chain attack system,
Yes,
and they're
yes.
like they're standing in water, like up to their mouths and like attacking.
I've done it, but like I hate that. It's actually like infuriates me. But when you're on a cliff and you fall off, and then I gotta like run like 30 yards to the left, and then there's like a baby step, and it's like he's not even stepping up this right now, so I got to go further.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing I absolutely hate. Now that you bring it up, I wish there was a way. And I believe like I've done it before where you can like put your weapon away, jump up, but then you lose like all that. The art power you've been building up.
Yes, that's right.
And I was like, I was like getting ready to unleash a big old attack, and I fell off the cliff because I did an attack that pushed me back. Ugh. Yeah, I hate it. I will say that's the one thing I hate about Xenoblade.
Yeah, I'm glad that when you do die, it's very quick to just throw you back on the map and keep on going.
Yeah, it's very fast.
I had this. So after. I don't know if I had started chapter 3, but it was like after the boss fight in chapter 2, and I was the next thing you do is you help Ethel find like the supplies or whatever. So the supplies were like behind a wall that you can run up. So I'm like, well, I don't understand. I could see the container. I can't figure out how to get down there. So I just started hopping, like jumping off the cliff, trying to find a spot where I wouldn't die.
The big circle, like the horseshoe thing.
Yeah, so I would go up the horseshoe and just jump off the cliff, and I'm like, okay, I can't jump from there, so then I jump from another spot, and then on the third try, I ended up catching like a rock that was kind of sticking out, so it kind of like
Broke your fall a little
broke
bit.
my fall, so I didn't completely die when I hit the ground, and then you auto heal, right? So I ran towards it, and it's funny because I did the battle, and then turn around, and I'm like, oh, there was a tunnel.
Oh, really?
I know exactly what you're talking about, David. That's
I
right.
didn't notice there was a tunnel. I was like, oh, dude, it's going to be sick. I'm going to go through this cave, and they're going to like, you found a secret spot. And then I didn't get that. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I still haven't found a secret spot yet.
No, me neither. I mostly just been trying to jump off, seeing how high I could jump before I die.
Just jump off cliffs.
Just jumping off cliffs. There doesn't seem to be any like discouragement. It's not like I'm not losing anything.
There's definitely a limit, and one thing I don't like is it's very strict on what surfaces you can and cannot jump on, and like it's very slippery. And I'm like, I like janking my way up things in games and just trying to climb that way, and it's like, nope, you can't. It's a rock formation here, but you can't go any higher up. And especially because you keep getting like the things on your map, there's a container somewhere, and like, is it above you? Is it below you? I don't know, but you can't get there right now. Deal with it.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a couple ledges where there's like a soldier husk, and I'm just jumping and jumping. I'm like, how do I get up here? I don't like. I can't. I'm looking for those little ledges or whatever to try to like catch something so that I can kind of spam my way up. But yeah, like Paige says, they're pretty good at like no, too bad. This is as slick as glass. You don't get to
Yeah.
go.
No clipping through everything.
Can I make a funny comment about the battle UI? It's a lot of orange, right? Everything's orange. Like all the abilities on the bottom half of the screen, it's all orange borders. I wish there was I wish like every character had their own color, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. Am I crazy? Like it just feels like a lot of orange on the screen.
One of the things about the UI that bugged me was that, so they have the big square that shows your quest, and I'm like, I don't want to see this all the time, so I close it. But when you close it, you can't fast travel. And I didn't, I didn't get that right away, and I'm like, why isn't the plus button working? What's going on?
The mini map system's kind of annoying, but eventually I'm like, okay, I can just get to the map from the main menu, and that's way better than destination map is super annoying. So
yeah.
I love the red mist trail that shows you where to go. I think it's awesome. I think every game should have it, frankly, especially a huge RPG like this. Yeah, I
haven't used it yet. I didn't even know it existed.
I don't use it all the time, but I just love having it for when I'm done exploring and I want to get back to where I was. And I don't necessarily want to fast travel because maybe I want to collect a bunch of materials on the way or fight some battles, but I want to be going in the general direction. And I just love knowing that the map is kind of showing me where to go in case, maybe there's a barrier or a rock or something I can't jump over. If I follow the mist trail, I'll get around that. It won't lead you to an area that's insurmountable. So it's just a mechanic I want in my RPGs from now on, forever.
I'm a slave to the random items on the
same. Yeah.
Like, I'll go grab that one and that one. Oh, well, that one's not that far off. And next thing you know, it's like
2 hours. It's been 2 hours later, and you haven't advanced the story an inch, right? Like that's what this does to you.
I've upgraded a bunch of my gems.
That's right. You filled out the Collectopedia. You're earning colony sympathy or whatever the hell the mechanic is.
Right. I like that when you send off the husks as well, right?
Yeah,
you gain rep with that colony.
You gain the rep. Yeah.
With the items, I laughed because before I started playing Xenoblade, I saw Justin had tweeted Xenoblade 3 is the best Pac-Man game ever made.
Yeah,
and I couldn't understand what he meant by that. And I'm like, I don't know, what does that even mean? And then it only took like an hour of playing where I'm like, oh, okay, I get
right
it.
Away. Yeah, it's so true. And I guess the containers could be like the power pellets or something like that. I don't know, because they shine up that yellow light on the map, right, when you see them. But man, yeah, I don't think I've walked a straight line in this game since I turned it on. Well, I'm constantly walking in an S shape.
Those buggers put a unique over-leveled monster right next to the second ether. Like the second time you find an ether crack, whatever. There's this level, I think I was level 8 at the time, and there's this level 15 unique, and I'm like, I'm trying to dodge it, and I'm getting one-hitted every time I'm trying to get to it. I'm like, screw it.
Come back later.
There's gonna be more.
Come back later. Yeah. And there's lots of those ether deposits, right?
So far I'm like, I need more uses for the ether deposit, because I know I think gem crafting uses it as well, and because there's the furnace you build up and you find more of those eventually, and there's a couple other things that use it. But I was like, I had 60 something before I found the next furnace, and I was like, because it's actually a max to how many you can hold. So it was almost at the max.
The Nopon coins have a maximum of 99 before they start you automatically sell them. So make sure if you're getting close to 99, just make sure you use them on leveling up or whatever.
On gems, you can use them on cooking. You can
just use them for hitting the cap.
I'm too afraid of I'm sitting there thinking will these be more useful if I save them for later?
These are not elixirs. They're not mega elixirs. You got to use them.
It's like elixirs and walking into the final.
We're so
boss
used to saving special
elixirs.
Currencies too. Yeah, that's true. Don't save them. Use them.
It's like the wallet limits in Zelda, except there's a hole in it, so it just starts falling out. It's not, you can't pick it up. Right. It just starts falling out. If you I've maxed on gemstones, and it's gemstones sold every 3 seconds.
It made me think of the rare candy from Pokemon, where it's why would I use rare candy to go from level 6 to level 7? I should be waiting until it's level 98 to 99.
Yeah.
We're getting through quite a bit for only I've played 8 to 10 hours so far.
Can I talk about one more system? The affinity system, which I think Paige kind of mentioned, the affinity for like the colonies, right? Or you're building up the reputation with the colonies, which can unlock bonuses in the game, such as the ability to improve your run speed, for example, or maybe improve stats or something like that.
Wait, that's
for
what it
every
does?
every character. I think that's the idea. There was a tutorial about it. I think kind of near when you're doing something in Colony 4. Is Colony 4 the one at the end of Chapter 2? Or
Yep.
I'm getting confused because I've just gone to Colony 9. But Colony 4, so you're building up the star meter, and I think for the colony, building up the reputation. And I think as you get higher, maybe when you get to the max 5-star rating or whatever, you unlock affinity bonuses that are global bonuses for all of your characters, I think, like such as like increasing your run speed. I think that's how it works. Paige, am I crazy? I don't know if you can disprove or prove that, but that's how I understood the tutorial, which was coming at a funny time because I wasn't anywhere close to getting any of those bonuses yet. But now I'm feeling a lot of incentive to just max up the colonies and just put the main story on the back burner. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, when it comes to the fetch quests and stuff, like with the card filling, I just sort of leave it until it says it's full. Like I'm not googling where each item is and finding. I'm just doing it as because I pick up pretty much everything. Yeah. It's more I think I need to fight because I went and did side stuff after chapter 2, so like then I was a bit over leveled for the area, so I was like just not fighting enemies because they weren't attacking me, and I was like, okay, I need to fight the different enemy types though, because obviously they give different drops too. I think in terms of mechanics, one thing we didn't really I briefly mentioned was the chain attack, because you do unlock that in chapter 2. Mm-hmm. And that's where like it's a meter that builds up and then you start it, and it's basically like this very like I say turn-based, but like you're not letting the enemy do pretty much anything while you're doing this, and it's like it's hard to explain it, but it's you pick a strategy, and then a lot of these strategies will apply as it'll be like after this chain attack has been successful, then their defense will be down for the rest of the chain attack. So you want to keep doing it because you're not going to get that benefit if you just flub after the first one.
I have a funny story about that.
Reduce aggro and things as well. So those ones are more like that's okay to use later. But like they said, there's recommended order because you get all the characters, and then they can just use an art, and that'll build up a TP meter. And once that hits over 100, one of the attacks is going to go. And like you can keep doing those for like at least a few in a row, based on how well you manage it, and then that can.
As long as you don't use a healer, though, I learned the hard way that if you use the healer, it kills the chain attack. No? Because what happened? Yeah, like it's so.
It just stops it from like going up to.
Yeah,
it only goes to 99, so you can't do another phase.
No,
you just don't want to use a healer last, right?
No, because you use a healer, because that way then you can use another person after the healer, and then you can put it over 100.
Okay.
Because once you hit 100, like it ends.
I thought if you used the healer once, then the max, no matter what, was 99, and it would be the end of the phase.
No.
I thought the healer just can't push you past 100. So you would start the chain with a healer. And then end with someone who can go over 100.
Order that it tells you is to do like attacker, healer, and then defender. Because if you end with a defender, some people will get recharged. But the healer is a way to cap it if you like, especially because when people come back, their TP level is much higher, and you get bonuses. So you're about to get pushed to the edge. You pop in a healer, so it caps at 99, and then you can use another character and then hit it over 100. So you could get 150. For the Bravo, or like 200 for the Amazing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so what happened to me at the end of chapter 2 was so I was looking at the classes, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody maxed out a class. One of the attackers, I think it was Noah actually. So I'm like, okay, I'll switch it over to something else so that they could start working on this other class. So I had 3 healers, 1 attacker, and 2 defenders. And then the boss battle started. So then every time I tried to do a chain attack, I kept only being able to get to 99 because half my team was healers, and I wasn't doing the other ones last. I guess that was probably my problem is I was trying to get to 100 with like the only 3 people that could attack. So I guess It was a long boss fight in the end, but I felt invincible because whenever anyone was getting even low, I had 3 healers that were just keeping me like at 80% or higher.
So what we know is that we can't trust David to manage an MMO party because he's not balancing it.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, that's
well, he
fair.
quit on Final Fantasy 14. He doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
I was the guy getting yelled at in Final Fantasy 14. It was like,
Why
what
are
the
we
hell
all
is that healer
attackers?
going?
Where are
What's
all there's no healers, no defenders. Everyone's attacking.
Yeah.
My main hassle is when some people like max their class earlier. So I'm trying to maintain a balance of there's 2 tanks, there's 2 healers, there's 2 attackers, and sometimes it's like so people are just stuck there waiting for the other one to level up before I can swap around, and I'm not putting people on like the unique classes I want because I'm trying to maintain a balance.
Well, I like how there was basically a cutscene that talked about what was going on in my head, where Lance was like, "Let's all just be attackers and we can end battles quickly." And Teon's like, "You idiot,
Just blast it, yeah.
we'll all be dead. You have to have balance." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, how about we do this?" And like,
And
are
David
you not-
didn't listen.
what part of balance don't you understand here, Lance? So the game was very, very
It's
motivated to
tutorializing
tell
you
me
on the
this.
dialogue and you're still not listening. That's
Yeah. Well, that sounds like me. So
Hey, if David can't figure out a game without the tutorial, he's not worth playing. Sorry. If you can't brute force your way through, we're dumping this game. We're going on to the next one.
The manual for the game is actually in the collector's edition contents that don't come till September. So
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
and I come from the generation that was given the manual in the box, and even then I was like, nope.
like, how do I play this game? And it's like there's some manuals right there.
Literally, Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy, the manual actually had all of the stats for all of the weapons and everything, and I'm like,
Oh,
nope,
it was such a
figure it
good.
out.
It's such a good manual. Oh my gosh, I wish I still had that one. It was
It's
super.
like 80 pages of,
It was
of
super
information.
thick. Oh, it was
Nope,
great.
I'll figure this out.
You could just take that to the bathroom and just read that, or read it before bed. You know, like
So when you say take it to the bathroom, that's not what I think of what you're doing with a book. But
oh, it was a book. Of all manuals I've ever seen, that was a book for sure.
It was a book.
it is funny though, like with the games that I built around like the tutorials being in the manual. I remember seeing there's like some YouTuber that did a video ages ago about a Super Nintendo game, and they were like, "Oh, how am I supposed to know this was going to kill me?" And it's like, I've got the game and I've got the manual, and it literally has a list of all the things that are deadly in the manual.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, I miss those days. Those were good.
There'll never
But
be a
not as
Tropics
good as
again.
having
No.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yep. Yeah.
It's true. It is true. It's this is a fantastic game. I just want to play more. I love
in general.
Right, that's it. Time to end the podcast. He wants to play more. Let's.
Yeah, we hit our hour.
taking-
Let's go.
Yeah, taking up valuable Xenoblade playing time now.
The reason why we need to end the podcast is because we haven't brought up a certain game that we always bring up, and I'm very happy about that. So
Oh,
Yes,
I was going to ask.
yes,
So
everybody.
what you're saying is that you've downloaded the Octopath
in
game for your phone, and you're playing the actual good Octopath, is what I heard.
I actually did download that mobile game, and I don't think it's very good.
Well, I was going to say, so it fits right in with the rest of the series. I was
Oh,
going to
So,
say,
you know,
yeah.
what's nice about this game compared to Octopath is that the characters all actually interact with each other, and
Oh, boy,
party
Yeah, I
members
know. I
exist
know. I
in
brought
the
it on
same
myself,
world.
but
Yeah, I was going to say, this one is on you.
we were going to get some listener hate mail if there wasn't any hate put on Octopath by the end of the episode. So I thought we could focus our hate on Octopath Travel, the mobile game, but apparently not.
Yeah.
I downloaded. I played for like all of
Not
10
gonna
minutes.
attack the best
It's
game
fine.
in the
but-
series.
I wish they spent their time making another Octopath instead of the
I
mobile.
don't.
yeah.
The developers for the first Octopath are playing Xenoblade now, trying to figure out how they managed to get the characters to look at each other while they talked.
This is absurd. They interact.
You know how it's like they're making eye contact because they made the eyes about a third of the head. That's the secret.
Yeah,
That's
sorry
what
guys.
they need to do
The
next
eyes aren't like 2 or 3 pixels on a screen. Like
Octopath 2, they just have big eyes and look in their direction, but they still don't talk to each other. No, I thought this is how we did it.
The fortunate thing is now they can go to Monolith Soft and they can ask for some help, right? They'll get them farm out some developers and
Imagine,
Monolith
because
also
like
that
figure out how to get a cohesive
Well, yeah.
party together.
Monolith Soft helps with like the Breath of the Wild games and stuff like that, right? So imagine them just helping with like a HD 2D game and making it a gigantic open
They'd be like,
world
first thing you do is you take the files and you put it in the recycling bin, and then you empty it. There you go.
Oh man, I can't wait till we do another bet and punishment, and Casey has to play the Octopath mobile game. That's going to be the punishment for sure.
Oh, my phone
gosh.
broke.
Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you hated the Switch version. Like, just wait till you play this mobile one.
Casey be like, my phone's at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
I'm
right.
phoneless.
Yeah. I'll send you a BlackBerry. You can go play it on your BlackBerry.
Well, that would work out because the amount of people who own Blackberries are probably the equal to the amount of people playing the Octopath mobile game.
That's probably right. It might be 1-to-1.
Communicate with just as many people as in the game.
That's right. Very good. All right, I'm steering this school bus fire off a cliff right now. So let's wrap it up here. Yeah, so Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I know a lot of you guys out there are playing it. We'd love to know what you are thinking about it. If you want to send us some listener mail, david@thethirsty.mage.com. Let us know what your impressions are so far. Have you played the other games in the series? Is this your first? I know all of us are going to be playing it through for the next couple weeks for sure. Hopefully finishing it before. Yeah, I know. I'm being Paige. You might be finished in a week. So
another week.
I don't know, to the end of August, maybe. Is that fair? I don't know. I know we've got other games coming out soon, so we're going to try to get through this one fairly fast. But yeah, it does seem very, very meaty. Thanks to Casey and Paige and David for setting up this episode, joining us, all kind of playing it together. It's pretty fun. We'll be back next week. I know if not next week, soon. We're going to do a live spoiler cast with Alex from Backlog Battle. That's our plan right now. We're still just trying to nail down the episode. It might be next week, but it'll be soon. And then, yeah, we'll see what else is coming down the pipe in the next few weeks. But we'll all be playing Xenoblade and maybe some other stuff in the meantime. But hope everybody has a great evening. Is there anything to plug, David, Paige, Casey? Anything we're working on?
Nope. Working on Xenoblade.
We're working on Xenoblade.
Yeah, for the next 140 hours.
There we go. I did post a review of a game called Frog Gun on NWR. You can check out that review. It's a kind of a 3D platformer, pretty cute, fun. Check it out. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great evening. Hope Paige has a good afternoon, and we'll see you all next week at the Thursday. Yeah, but you don't say good morning when it's still morning. Sometimes you say good afternoon. Like, hope
you don't say good morning when you greet somebody at 9:30.
Hope you have a good afternoon, right? I don't know how it works in Australia.
He's
but
not used to communication.
I'm not.
Yeah. Well, he plays too much Octopath. He's not used to talking to people.
He's trained to ignore others.
He doesn't have any examples.
I'll be starting my own podcast next week. Stay tuned for that. Sharing it on my social media channel, where all we do is talk about Octopath and the mobile version. So, gosh. Hope everybody has a very good week ahead, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.
Adios.
Bye.